So you have OTF Dede, you have OTF Vonnie, and then you've got other names like this guy by the name of what's my guy? OTF Boogie. You know what I mean? Then you have these other two guys. So what? Let's go there, man. OTF Dede, man. Let's talk about this real quick, man, because there's a lot being said about OTF Dede, man. Now, DeAndre Wilson, a.k.a. OTF Dede, is actually a decent rapper in his own right? So OTF Dede was one of the main people who was mentioned in the case. He was one of the main people whose name was implicated in this case, and he's one of the only people I can see in the case who has legit music videos and rap music videos and things that he had put out, under OTF, and he's very active on social media as well. His name, even on social media, is OTF Dede. So, there's no mistaking it, man. So a lot of people are already, based on the indictment, putting two and two together and saying that he was one of the guys who reaped the benefits from this shooting. He was one of the guys who ended up getting a record deal because of it. Because remember, in the indictment, they said they were paid with cash and promises of a lucrative record contract, which is an interesting way to cover up or pay for a hit. But if you're an aspiring rapper and you a street dude, I guess all of those things, all those things align, man. Now, what trips me out is, if we go back to the part where it talks about the plot or the murder plot, OTF Dede's real name is DeAndre Wilson, right? OTF Dede is not mentioned in the part of the indictment where they talk about carrying out the hit, unless I'm mistaken. So let's go back and read that. It says, the plot came to a head when Bowman stopped at a gas station along Beverly Boulevard. Prosecutors said that is when Houston allegedly drove to an alley behind the gas station before letting out Jones, Lindsay, and an unidentified co-conspirator out to carry out the shooting. None of those people are hold on. Am I tripping? Yeah, Jones, Lindsay, and an unidentified co-conspirator. I mean, you might could say the unidentified co-conspirator is OTF Dede, but he's already mentioned in the indictment, so they wouldn't have to mask his name and call him an unidentified co-conspirator, as well as the other people who are named in the indictment. They wouldn't have to mask anything or cover anything up because they're already named. So whoever the unidentified co-conspirator is, I don't know. That's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
That just seems like a person who they're covering up for a reason. But OTF Dede was not mentioned in that at all, And at no point does it even talk about where his involvement was according to this news story. So let's do something, man. While we're talking about OTF Dede, what I want to do is just see. As alleged in counts. Okay, here we go. We might have some. As alleged in counts 1 and 2, after learning of TB's location, defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California for the purpose of murdering TB. So TB is a short abbreviation for Quando Rondo's real name. On that same day, August 18th, 2022, the defendant Grant also traveled by private jet to Los Angeles. Now, how does Grant have money for a private jet is what I'm wondering. Like, at what point? Now, we'll get to that in a second. Now, it continues by saying, as alleged in counts 1 and 2, on August 19th, 2022, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 used 2 vehicles to track, stalk, and attempt to kill TB by gunfire, including a fully automatic firearm, resulting in the death of SR. So that's a little pab. Also, I want to see. So they're saying he was involved. See, the news story missed that. They're saying he was actually involved in the tracking down of Lil Pab and Quando Rondo and whatnot. You know what I mean? So he's facing all these charges. I just didn't see where he was a shooter in the situation. But in his own right, OTF Dede is a rapper. You know what I mean? And he's got some decent songs out there. And a lot of people are going back and they're starting to decode a lot of the lyrics and things right now, which is kind of interesting seeing that play out on social media. But it looks like there were several references between him and Lil Durk that can be interpreted as being a part of this hit. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. Now, also, man, on the 18th, man, they got these cats text messages. Don't book no flights under no names involved with me. Co-conspirator 1 texted co-conspirator 3. Crazy. Now, I'm going to bring this up for you guys so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And take this off of Dede for a second. But in the indictment, they show they have the text messages between co-conspirator 1 and everybody else who was involved in the situation. So it looks like on the 18th, they're having all this communication. Now, people have gone on to say that co-conspirator 1 is Lil Durk. That's what the people are saying. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but Lil Durk is actually the one who's locked up right now. So it says, on August 18th, 2022, co-conspirator 1 texted co-conspirator 3, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. So basically letting it be known, like, hey, man, anything that has to do with this or anybody who's involved with me or close to me, don't book no flights under their names. Now, in overt act number 7, on August 18th, 2022, using a credit card ending in 2039, OTF credit card 1, co-conspirator 3 purchased airplane tickets for defendants Wilson, so that's OTF Dede, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 to travel from Chicago, Illinois to San Diego, California that same day. So flew them out just to carry out the hit on that same day. Now on August 18th, 2022, co-conspirator 3 confirmed to defendant Wilson via text messages that defendants, so he's reaching out, co-conspirator 3 is reaching out to OTF Dede and letting them know via text messages that the defendants Wilson, Jones, and Lindsay had the same airline ticket confirmation. So letting it be known that they confirmed their flights. Now, also on the 18th, defendant Wilson, a.k.a. I'm just saying OTF Dede, messaged a friend on Instagram on my way to L.A. Now, that was dumb. That was stupid. Oh, man.
Bruh.
So he messaged somebody on Instagram on my way to L.A. when he's on his way to L.A. to carry out a hit. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Is dude serious? Did y'all just catch that? So basically, dude is on his way to carry out a hit and then told somebody on Instagram, hey, I'm on my way to L.A. Dog, you don't want to people even know you're in L.A. You don't want nobody to be able to say, hey, dog, you was in L.A. that one day when the shooting took place. And ain't you cool with Lil Durk? You know, aren't you OTF? You know, your name is OTF Dede, right? Like, what in the world, dog? This is some goof troop stuff, man. I always assume that dudes are smarter or slicker than they see, especially cats who've been rapping about it, been out here. You ain't never seen them get caught up. You just assume that they're smarter than this. But nah, dog, that's crazy. That is crazy. Dude is legit on his way to carry out a hit, allegedly, in L.A., and then text somebody on Instagram, I'm on my way to L.A. What the hell? All right, let's continue. Now, in overt act number 10, on August 18th, 2022, defendant Houston texts co-conspirator 3 on got cleared. I'm 15 minutes away from the airport. Okay, on. Letting them know it's on, I'm assuming. Got clear, so meaning that he went through clear, or either him going through the airport, he's clear. I'm 15 minutes away from the airport. Oh, no, meaning he's clear to go. And he's 15 minutes away from the airport. They're communicating all this over text. Now, overt act number 11, on August 18th, 2022, defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 flew from Chicago, Illinois to San Diego via the airplane tickets procured by conspirator number 3 using OTF credit card number 1. So they're logging this already as OTF credit card number 1. I want to, man, for Durk's sake, I want to know how they're attaching that credit card to OTF. How do they know that's credit? it better say OTF business account on that card, man. Because if it's just some random person with a card, how do you know that they're not lying? Especially if it's an informant or whatever. How do you know they're not just putting those pieces together to make the story good so they get out of whatever they're getting out of? You know what I mean? I don't know. Y'all tell me. What do y'all think? And I seen somebody just left a message in the chat. They said OTF Dede was the same guy the ops kidnapped and made him perform. What? That was on her. Whoa. Yo, HB, I appreciate you providing that info, man. But I got to get that one out of here, dog. I had to remove that message. That's crazy if that happened to him. And hey, if you're in here right now, make sure you hit that like button. And for everybody who did, I appreciate you. Nah, HB, I'm sorry I had to get rid of that comment, but that was too wild, man. So he really got kidnapped by the ops, and then they made him do some crazy stuff. That is wild, man. I did not hear that story, man. I'm not saying it's true. That's all alleged. That's just what somebody, you know. He said, my fault. Yeah, next time you got to clean it up, bro. Ain't no problem. You just got to clean it up, man. That is a crazy story, man. I'm hoping he didn't go through that, man. Now, let's continue with this indictment, man. Now, defendant Grant purchased the 4 black ski masks from a sporting goods store in Los Angeles. Another bad move. If they flew into San Diego, why didn't they just buy them there? Whatever. Los Angeles County using cash. Smart move. Then it goes on to say, overt act number 14. So these are all the acts that they're saying is in commission of the crime. On August 18th, 2022, using a credit card ended in 1015, OTF credit card number 2, defendant Grant rented a hotel room for the co-conspirators located in Los Angeles, California, the University City Hotel. So there's 2 credit cards so far that they're considering the OTF credit cards, 1 and 2, right? And they're basically attaching that. Well, they attached this one to the buying of the hotels. So their thinking is probably like, yo, bro, we're going to use separate credit cards for different things. And for everything else, we're going to use cash. I mean, okay. But those credit cards are electronic, and that's always going to leave a record, man. Why not? I guess, man, well, a hotel nowadays, in order to get a hotel, you got to have a card or some sort of card or something, you know? So that's a hard one to get over. Now, it also says that on August 18th, 2022, in or around Los Angeles, California, defendant Grant met with the co-conspirators and provided defendants Jones, Lindsay, and conspirator 2 with firearms, including a firearm that had been modified to operate as a fully automatic machine gun to kill Quando Rondo. You know what I'm saying? TB, who's Quando Rondo. On August 18th, 2022, defendant Grant provided 2 cars for defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 to use to find, track, and kill Quando Rondo, a white BMW sedan from a rental company in Los Angeles County, and a white Infiniti sedan with a fake license plate. So they put a fake license plate on each one of the cars, probably trying to prevent getting tracked. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's license trackers everywhere. There's license trackers on, like, if you read the indictment with the Young and Ace case, there's license trackers on those, those work trucks, those like white work trucks that drive around or whatever. There's license trackers on those. That could all be pulled. Most Teslas, you know what I'm saying? Like, the videos can be pulled off of those. It's like, bruh, it's not easy to commit a crime today. Bruh. If you're trying to get away with crime in these days, you got an uphill battle, bruh. Because it's like, dog, who would think those random work trucks and stuff have cameras on in front of them and they're tracking your license plates as you drive by them or whatever, or if you're parked or whatever, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy stuff, man. Bruh. Now, it goes on to say that on August 19th, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 traveled to downtown LA hotel where TB, which is Quando Rondo, was staying to find, track, and kill Quando Rondo. You know what I mean? Now, in overt act number 19 on August 19, 2022, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and Conspirator 2 followed and tracked Quando Rondo's black Escalade to a marijuana dispensary located on Flower Street in Los Angeles, California. So he went to grab him some weed. So he went to grab him some marijuana, and he stopped by a dispensary, and I guess however they were tracking him, because they keep saying tracking him. So I'm thinking either they're using some sort of tracking device or they tagged his car because somebody told him what car he was in, and they were tracking him that way. You know, they got these Apple AirTags. People use those as tracking devices. They got all sorts of things you can use as a tracking device. It's not that hard anymore to do that. You know what I'm saying? So they were tracking him, and they tracked him to this dispensary. Now, in overt act number 20, on August 19, 2022, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and a co-conspirator 2 followed and tracked Quando Rondo's black Escalade to a clothing store located on Melrose Avenue in West Hollywood, California. The below image shows the BMW and Infiniti following the black Escalade in which Quando Rondo and Lil Pab were passengers. Now, TB is for Quando Rondo, SR is for Lil Pab. They were passengers as the black Escalade traveled towards the clothing store. So, looks like they were going to grab some gear. And as you can see, the white Infiniti, and then you see the white BMW, and they're following closely. These are both of those cars, and they're saying to the right there was this car right here, which is Quando Rondo and Lil Pab in this black Escalade. And you could clearly see them too. You could clearly see the driver or whatnot in there, which is wild. Yeah. Crazy, man. So they were following them that close, and they were on them. Obviously, whatever tracking device they were using was allegedly working. Now, what it sounds like to me when you look at this is OTF Dede must have been one of the drivers. It looks like he was one of the drivers in the case because he's mentioned to be tracking him, to be following him and all that, but it's not. He's not mentioned as one of the people who hopped out and started shooting. It's actually one of the guys who's a co-conspirator. You know what I mean? So it says, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 tracked Quando Rondo's black Escalade to a gas station located on Beverly Boulevard in Los Angeles, California, the Beverly gas station. So, sounds very fancy, the Beverly gas station. But besides the point, on August 19th, 2022, defendant Houston drove the Infiniti to an alley behind the Beverly gas station and parked the vehicle so the defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 could attempt to murder Quando Rondo. So this whole time, what was, I guess he wasn't the driver because they said that Houston was a driver in one car. Well, there were two cars. So let's see. Let's see. Now, overt act 23, on August 19, 2022, at the Beverly gas station, defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 used the firearms procured by defendant Grant, including fully automatic firearm. And what I'm thinking is he probably used a switch. He probably put a switch on one of the weapons because clearly you can see that they're firing with handguns. So, you know, and they said that they modified earlier in the indictment, they said that they modified it to be a fully automatic weapon. And, you know, the easiest way to do that is with the switch, which also carries a case. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure they haven't located the weapons, and I don't see anything in this where, well, we'll get to that. But it seems like right now it doesn't say anything about them finding those weapons. But they know that one was modified to be an automatic. So they know the little intricate details of everything these cats was doing, man. That's how you know there's an informant. They know exactly who was driving. No, they didn't just come up with that on their own. Somebody had to tell them who was driving in each car and where they were sitting in each car. That's not a guessing game. That's not something you could just do by uncovering these little details and not looking. Well, maybe if you have exact camera angles and you can point out who exactly everybody is. But at this point, they're already wearing the ski mask. They're already wearing everything. So there's no way you know exactly who's driving, who's sitting where without there being an informant to give you that information. So it's going to be interesting to find out who the informant really is in this situation too.